All right, so today we're going to unpack one of the most perfectly crafted, seriously chilling short stories you'll ever read, Roald Dahl's The Landlady. We're going to look at just how Dahl manages to build this incredible atmosphere of creeping dread, all starting from what looks like a super charming welcome. So let's get right into it. So believe it or not, we're actually going to start at the end with this one line. Right now, out of context, it's just intriguing, right? Kind of weird, but stick with me. Because by the end of this, you're going to feel the full, horrifying weight of those 5 little words. Okay, now let's jump back to the beginning and see how on earth we end up here.
Part 1, a deceptively charming welcome. You know, every good trap needs some really tempting bait, and that's exactly what this first part of the story is all about. It's about setting the stage, introducing us to our main character, Billy Weaver, and this, well, seemingly perfect, cozy little boarding house that's about to become his own personal prison.
So let's meet our guy, Billy Weaver. He's only 17 years old, fresh out of London, and he's super ambitious. He wants to climb that corporate ladder. The story even calls him brisk, because he's trying to act all professional like the businessman he looks up to. And it's this mix, right? This ambition and, frankly, his total cluelessness about the real world. Well, it makes him the absolute perfect, unsuspecting victim.
And Dahl doesn't waste any time setting the mood. I mean, right from the very first paragraph, you can feel this subtle but really ominous tone. It's not just cold outside, it's deadly cold. The wind isn't just nippy, it's like a flat blade of ice. I mean, what a description, right? It just immediately makes the whole world feel hostile. And it's basically pushing Billy, telling him, you gotta find shelter and you gotta find it now. So Billy's on his way to a pub that someone recommended, a perfectly normal plan. But then this sign just grabs his attention. And this is really where the weirdness kicks in. It's not just a sign, It's described as having this almost hypnotic, supernatural pull on him. It literally feels like the sign is forcing him to go ring that doorbell, even though his brain is telling him, no, stick to the plan, go to the pub. And when he looks in, I mean, what's not to love? Seriously. It's the postcard of coziness. There's a warm fire going, a cute little dachshund sleeping by the hearth, these big, plump armchairs. There's even a parrot in a cage. Think about it. If you're a 17-year-old kid, all alone in a freezing cold city, this is a sight for sore eyes. It's completely irresistible. It is the perfect bait. A perfect illusion of safety and warmth. Okay, section 2, the unsettling clues. So the trap has been set, right? The bait has been taken. And now Dahl starts doing what he does best. He begins to sprinkle in these little clues, these tiny, really unsettling details that make you feel like, something is very, very wrong here. This is where that feeling of dread really starts to build. And the first huge red flag, the price. I mean, 5 shillings and 6 pence a night. Billy himself thinks it's fantastically cheap. We're talking less than half of what he was expecting to pay. Now, for most of us, that would scream scam or something's wrong, right? But for our Naive Billy, it just feels like he's hit the jackpot. What amazing luck. And then the odd little things just start piling up. Think about it. The door swings open the instant he presses the bell, like she was standing right there. There are no other coats or hats in the hallway, which is weird for a B&B. Then the landlady says this creepy thing about waiting for someone just exactly right, while she kind of checks him out. Oh, and she keeps getting his name wrong. Any one of these things, okay, maybe she's just a bit eccentric, but all of them together, it starts to paint a really, really disturbing picture. But here, right here, this might be the biggest clue of the whole story. Billy goes to sign the guest book, like you have to do, and he sees it's almost completely empty. Now, hold on. A place this cheap, this charming, you would think it'd be packed to the gills, right? So why is the book empty? Just look at this. It's not just that it's empty, it's how empty it is. There are only 2 other names in the entire book. And get this, one of them is from over 3 years ago, and the other is from over 2 years ago. Nobody has checked in here in more than 2 years. For a place with a permanent bed and breakfast sign in the window, that's basically impossible. So you have to ask, where is everybody? And this is where Dahl just pulls us right into Billy's mind. The names in the book, Christopher Mulholland, Gregory W. Temple, they sound familiar to him. You know that feeling when a name is right on the tip of your tongue, but you just can't place it? That's what's happening to Billy. And that nagging feeling, that sense that he should know who these people are, well, that creates this incredible suspense, not just for him, but for us reading along. Okay, section 3, a peculiar cup of tea. And this is the climax. This is where everything shifts. It all happens over a seemingly innocent cup of tea. And it's during this conversation that all that vague uneasiness we've been feeling starts to sharpen, to crystallize into real stomach-churning horror. And he is so close to figuring it out. Billy's memory is just about to click into place. He's starting to remember a news story, something about a schoolboy from Eton who went missing. He's right on the verge of connecting the name in the book to this famous disappearance. He's got it. He's almost there. But she is always one step ahead of him. Just as he's about to make the connection, she cuts in with this perfectly normal, simple question. She completely derails his train of thought, and just like that, the memory is gone. It's brilliant and it's terrifying how she just steers the conversation exactly where she wants it, keeping him confused and stopping him from realizing the truth. And then this happens. This is the point of no return. The tea has this faint taste of bitter almonds. Now, if you've ever read a mystery novel, alarm bells should be screaming in your head right now. Bitter almonds? That is the classic literary signal for cyanide. It's poison, but Billy, he has no idea. He just thinks, this tea tastes a bit weird. And that's a perfect example of dramatic irony. We know he's in mortal danger, but he is completely oblivious. So Billy, trying to make conversation, asks when the other two guys left. And the landlady, she just drops this absolute bombshell. The line just hangs there in the air, and in that one moment, the entire story pivots from just being a little strange to being genuinely terrifying. They never left. I mean, what on earth could that possibly mean? And here we are, the final section, the chilling revelation. That poison tea is starting to work, and the awful truth is slowly dawning on Billy. This is it. This is the part where all those little red flags, all those weird clues finally snap into place. The full, monstrous reality of what's happening to him is about to be revealed. The trap has closed. His head is probably spinning from what she just said, and his eyes wander over to those pets he thought were so cute earlier, the parrot and the dachshund. And then it hits him. In all the time he's been in that room, neither of them has moved a muscle. Not once. They've been perfectly, unnaturally still. So he reaches out, touches the dog, and it's cold and hard as a rock. Billy, probably in shock, says something like, "Wow, it looks so real." And the landlady, with a sweet little smile, just calmly confesses to her hobby. And it's the way she says it. So casual, so pleasant, like she's talking about knitting or something. That's what makes this so incredibly bone-chilling. So yeah, just so we are all on this same terrifying page here, taxidermy. She stuffs and mounts her dead animals. But let's rewind for a second. What did she just tell Billy about her other guests, Mr. Mulholland and Mr. Temple? That they're still here, on the 3rd floor. She doesn't call them guests. She calls them her little pets. Suddenly, that horrific connection is impossible to ignore. And this is it. This is Billy's very last question. He's signed the book, he's finished the poison tea, he now knows about her hobby. I mean, he must be putting it all together in his head. And this question, it's just this one last desperate attempt to find an answer, to find some little bit of hope that he knows deep down isn't coming. And we are right back where we started this whole thing. But now you understand. Now that line has its full, terrifying context. He's the first person to check in over 2 years. He is the next entry in that guest book. He is going to be her next little pet, preserved, just like the others. His fate is completely and utterly sealed in those 5 simple, devastating words. And that's it. That's where Roald Dahl just leaves us hanging. The story just cuts to black right there. It forces us to imagine all the gruesome stuff that happens next. So what happens after that last line? Well, the absolute genius of the landlady is that Dahl doesn't have to spell it out, because we already know, don't we? And that horror that you imagine in your own head, it is so much more powerful than anything he could have ever put down on the page.